Since we are meeting for the first time, I would like to meet some of you. As you are, you can actually let me know and let me see you, or let me just get to know you by way of introduction. So where do we start? Where do we start? Someone should just, you can just introduce yourself one after the other.
Okay. Good evening. I am Mrs. Wango Stella from Ebonyi State.
All right.
I am working at the Local Government Service Commission as a director in social development.
Okay. In which of the local government are you?
I work in Evo local government.
As a director of social development. That's great.
But presently at the Local Government Service Commission, headquarters as a director.
Okay, as a director of education, right?
Yes.
At the Local Government Service Commission. So which means you are the state capital.
Yes,
you
sir.
are the headquarters coordinating other directors of social. Is it all other directors of social development or director of education alone?
Well, you know, the department has different units.
Yes.
I am the social worker directing that department.
Yes, I want to get I want to get the right nomenclature of your department, the right name of your department.
Oh, okay. Education and Social Welfare Department.
Great. That's great. That is great. Okay.
My cadre.
Your what?
My cadre.
Okay. I'm with you. Go ahead.
Somebody should mute the telephone. It's making a lot of noise. The director of social development. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. You are welcome. What's your background?
Thank you, sir.
Your background.
My background.
What do you have like? Maybe what do you have as your first?
I studied
first degree,
sociology,
second degree, and so on and so forth.
Now I am my first degree. I studied sociology.
Oh, great! That's great.
Somehow I did my master's in public administration.
Oh, that's great. So that you can become the head of local government administration. Am I right?
Wow, that would be beautiful.
I wish you were in that regard.
Well, I have a passion in social work, so I felt I should come and professionalize.
Oh, great, great. I love to hear that. You are welcome.
Yes,
it will be well by the grace of God.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, let me meet the second person. That is Mrs. Stella Nwagu that just spoke, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rita. I can see Rita here as well. Please, Rita, over to you. Okay, if Rita is not ready, just unmute yourself and speak. If you are not ready, I can go on to Pretty. Pretty, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
My name is Pretty Evie.
Please, Rita, can you mute your mic? You don't have the floor. Rita, mute your mic. Go ahead.
Okay, sir.
I am a deputy director of administration in the office of the head of service establishments and pensions, Delta State, Asaba.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I actually have passion for social work. In the past, I've actually done childcare. I attended Childcare Institute in Paris, and I took a lot of programs with the social work, and as such, I feel I should be able to I should be able to improve and professionalize that career in my life.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Though
Yes.
my first degree is on arts and
Okay.
yes, and I am presently rounding up my master's program in criminology and security studies.
Great.
And yeah, so I feel if I go into social work, it's going to help me to actually improve in that area.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, it will help you because you are into criminology and so on and so forth. And this is a related course, and it's quite relevant, and it's going to be very, very useful. So I wish you all the best. So
thank you, sir.
The next person, Rita, it's your turn now.
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
I'm
not a prof. Oh, I'm not a prof yet. Oh.
Okay.
Just go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good
I'm
evening.
Rita, working with the Ministry of Women Affairs at Sabah.
Okay.
So I decided to be part of this program because maybe, I did a little bit of some psychology as in different levels.
You can
now,
allow there is a background noise. Who is having the background noise? Is it from
nobody.
you? Nobody.
No,
okay,
no,
please.
I'm alone
Go ahead.
at home.
Go ahead.
So I did some courses in psychology, some programs in psychology.
Okay.
So, but I just felt it's very necessary since I'm in the Women Affairs ministry. I need the social work aspect to be able to develop myself and build up myself. That was the main reason I'm part of this program and to build up myself in this aspect of social works.
Oh, that's great.
And become functional, maybe in future when I'm retired.
Yes. And so that you can also offer service to the humanity. Hello, please, just a minute. C-ISOWN, co-host, can you please mute your mic? Co-host, please mute your mic. C-ISOWN, ICT, please. Please, can you mute your mic? Your background noise is disrupting the class, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Bubeme Rita.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. You are in Women Affairs as a director.
Yes, a deputy director.
Deputy director, social welfare or child welfare or women or gender.
Okay, I'm in Women and Gender Development and Department.
Oh, that's great. You are welcome. You are in the right. Okay. You are on the right path, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Who is Ijeoma? Ijeoma is your turn. If you are there with us. So anyhow, maybe when you come back, we'll have the opportunity of meeting us as well. So I'm social worker Yakub. I'm going to take you through this course in a few weeks, and I want to believe.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening. Where were you before? Are you trying to put something into your stomach or into your mouth?
No,
so that we'll not see you.
No, sir. Good evening, sir.
Today is Saturday, and
I'm telling you, very busy.
I quite understand that.
Good evening, sir.
That. Good evening.
I am Mrs. C-ISOWN, a Deputy Director in Ministry of Women Affairs at Sabah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what's your background?
BSc Sociology.
Great. Okay. We are the same Ministry of Women Affairs, right?
Yes, sir.
But you are a deputy director of which department?
Child development, sir.
Child development. Great.
Yes.
So all of you are relevant, and you have a very good background that can launch you into greater heights, and you are starting on a very good pedestal, and I have that belief that you're going to be much more useful to the society. The essence of social work is to actually deliver good services to humanity, so that our tomorrow can be better, so that we can guarantee the future of this nation and the future of this world. And you remember that the sustainable development goals are geared towards guaranteeing the future without compromising what we have at the present. That is, guarantee the ability of those that will come tomorrow to be able to meet their own needs without compromising what we have today. So, and that is the essence of social work, if you want to agree with me. Because if that aspect is taken from woman's life or from woman's development process, definitely there cannot be what we call humanity, there cannot be what we call society. If there is disorder in the society, no matter what you have, no matter the possession in your care, there's no way you can protect them. When the social fabric, if the social fabric is cut away, or if the social fabric is in a way hampered, so definitely it will destabilize the order of the society. And you also remember, let me also let me ask you to recall the fact that the Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 goals, are premised on 3 dimensions. We have the social dimension, which is about social protection in short, and we also have the economic dimension as well, and as well as environmental dimension, environmental sustainability. So the 3, they work hand in hand, they work together. Each of the 3 dimensions is linked with the other 2. One, if you are talking about social dimension, that social aspect lays the foundation upon which the 2 can rest. If the social dimension is not, the foundation is not that solid, and this foundation is faulty, or the foundation is not well laid, definitely the 2, economy and environment, cannot actually survive. So I'm trying to establish the fact that when social welfare is well grounded, the society will be better for it. When you have the economic power, it means that your status will be raised. When you can fight hunger, it means that you can relate very well. You can live a good life within your society. It means that there won't be any barrier for you to grow or to move higher the ladder. There won't be any barrier for you, there won't be any obstacle for you to move up the ladder in the ladder of economic status when you are well empowered. And inequality will be removed, which means if you are poor today and you are empowered tomorrow, or you were poor yesterday and you are empowered today, it means by tomorrow you will not be poor. You will have crossed that hurdle and become a rich person. So what I'm saying in essence is the fact that social welfare is the essence of any government that we have, is the essence of any government, the primary concern, or should be, and of course is the primary concern, is the primary duty of government to provide. So in this course, social work actually encapsulates everything that we call social welfare. It is broader than social welfare, but social work actually becomes the umbrella that covers every other thing that has to do with the social well-being of an individual. When we can guarantee the long-term survival of an individual within his or her environment, it means that we are looking at that individual holistically. We are not looking at that individual as in isolation. You know, in social work, you don't work in silos, you work with others. That is why social work is more or less a multidisciplinary discipline that draws inspirations from other disciplines, including sciences, including social sciences, including arts, as well as other areas of human endeavor. Presently, I'm on one course called genetic counseling in sickle cell disease. And this is handled by medical practitioners, professors of medicine with different specialization from Nigeria and abroad, especially Ghana. And they now saw the importance of engaging social worker in that particular program, because we have a role to play to ensure that everything they do becomes successful. No matter what they do in the hospital, by the time they leave the hospital, it ends there. But they have not come of age to understand the fact that a patient or client in our own case live beyond the hospital, beyond medical care. That is why we have not been getting it right since all these days. All these days, emphasis has been on the treatment. Emphasis has been on the clinical, forgetting the social implications of that treatment, forgetting the social implication of the kind of medical attention received in the four walls of the hospital. Many people are not sick, really, in real sense. When they get to a hospital, they do all kinds of tests. They will not detect the cause of their ailment, because it is social in nature. It is socially triggered. No medicine, no orthodox medicine can actually cure that, except we use the tools that we have in social work. And that is why globally, the essence of social work is recognized. The essence of social work has always been emphasized. So in this regard, what we are looking at in this course is social work policy formulation and implementation. We will be much more practical, and I'm happy. All of you are on field. You are on field. All of you are field workers. You have had experiences in discharging your duties as social workers in your different ministries or in your different states, because all of you are on directorate level. And when you reach that stage, when you reach that ladder in the civil service, definitely you must know the policy implications of what we do, and you must have been involved one way or the other in some of this we will be discussing. So your experience here is also valuable. So we are starting with the introduction. Can you see my slide?
No, sir.
Can you see my slide? No.
It's tiny.
It's tiny. You can expand from your hand.
You are
using address phone, right? You expand from your hand. Yes. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Great. So we starting with chapter 1, which is introduction to social policy in social work, because we are looking at social work policy formulation. The social work policy is not different from social welfare policy that we have. As a government official, you must have come across policy papers, policy documents. Even in the Ministry of Women Affairs, you must have come across, especially those in the gender and is it Gender and Women Department? You must have seen National Gender Policy. Have you seen anyone, or have you gone through anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. National Gender Policy is there. Who formulated that policy? Is it not government? And I think the latest we have is in it was formulated in 2006. Has there been any new edition? Do you have any new edition? I'm not sure if you have a new edition. So you can find out that. So in this case, we're looking at social policy in social work. What is social policy? Social policy guide delivery of essential services in health, education, housing, employment, and welfare. As I said, it addresses how government and institutions respond to human needs and inequalities. In the Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 10 talks about reduced inequalities and bringing out a kind of social policy that will address this. It is the government that will bring that one out, and it is the government that will formulate that policy, because government will want to respond to human needs and inequalities in the society. You agree with me that we have the inequalities. Inequality in our society are diverse. I told you one of recently, between the rich and the poor. Between the rich and the poor. Look at those living in the rural areas, those living in the urban areas. Those in the rural areas, they have no access to basic amenities that will make their life a standard one. They lack those amenities. For instance, access to quality education is not there. Access to good healthcare services is not there. Good roads, they are not there. Infrastructure, electricity, and so on and so forth. All these are lacking in the rural setting. But in the urban setting, development is always concentrated in the urban centers. Those of you in Delta State, if you quantify the amount of money or the amount of money expended on developing Asaba as the capital of Delta State, and you just compare it with what is used or expended in developing the rural areas in Delta State, you will see that urban center will go up about more than 70-80% of the whole resources of the state, because everything is concentrated there. Look at that gap. So with that, the gap is widening between the rural and the urban. That is one inequality. What about the inequality between the two sexes, male and female? In some society, in some culture, they encourage male education. Female education is not encouraged in any way. But in some societies too, they encourage their child education. In some society, the men will be looking after the children at home, while the women will go to the farm and do all the work in the farm and bring food to the family to eat. So these are inequalities, and there are very diverse human needs as well. When we talk about social policy refers to principles, legislation, action affecting the well-being of society. It determines who gets what, how, under what conditions. You see, if you see a policy, there are different sections in any policy document. We'll have who will do what. We'll have the policy framework, we'll have the policy strategies, we'll have the policy targets, we'll have the indicators. Then we'll have how best to measure whether the policy is actually moving in the right direction or it's not moving in the right direction. Then we'll talk about MIE, monitoring and evaluation. Because in the policy, the policy states who takes what, policy states who is responsible for a particular action, and when such an action must take place. Policy will state that. So that is why it is important that policies are maybe principles, maybe legislation, maybe actions that affect the well-being of society. Don't forget, the essence of social work is to improve the well-being of the society, is to better the lot of the individual or groups of individual or of the society at large, so that tomorrow will be better than today, or today will be better than yesterday. That's the essence of social work. You're looking at long-term well-being of an individual or group of individuals. Relevance to social work. Why is social policy relevant to social work? One, it ensures equitable service delivery. When there is a policy will look at equitable distribution of resources. There's no that policy that will not look at that. Don't forget, one of the major roles of social worker is that of ensuring that resources are redistributed equitably. Then it is also relevant that it frames advocacy for vulnerable groups. When the policy is formulated, the vulnerable groups, those that need some intervention more than the other, will be identified, and it will provide a frame upon which they can address their needs. Then it also links micro level practice to macro level change. From the micro, you look at what happens at the micro level, maybe at the family level, or at the society level, or at the family level, at the individual family level, to that of the society. You move from micro, you move from known to unknown. It is policy that links that. Then it look at ethical foundation. There's no policy that will not look at ethical foundations. And this is guided by social justice, human rights, equality, and professional ethics. Again, there are levels of social policy. We have macro, which is at the national laws and policies. You know, at the national, like I mentioned, national gender policy. Because Nigeria is a federation. It means that every state will have its law. While at the national, we have acts. That act will be enacted by the National Assembly and assented to by Mr. President. So when it is assented to by Mr. President, it becomes an act. At the state level, any law, any legislation that will be operated, that will be active, that can be enforced in the state, must be passed or must be enacted by the State House of Assembly. And when that is done, it becomes law. That is why we have the state laws. Then at the local government level, we have the bylaws as well. So the national laws, except a national law is domesticated at the state level, it cannot be applied in such state. A good example is that of the VAB law. I know you are aware of the VAB law. Are you aware of that VAB law? VAB law, Violence Against Person Prohibition Act law, the Prohibition Act at the national level. VAPP, Violence Against Person Prohibition Act at the national level. You must be aware of that. Have you seen a copy, or have you gone through a copy? Eboyin, have you seen a copy of that VAP Act?
Yes, sir.
Great. You see, that act can only be applied to Federal Capital Territory. You can only cite it at the state level unless every state of the 36 states that we have in this country, unless they domesticate it at their state assembly, it cannot be enforced. So that is why many states, I think about 24 or 26 now, or getting to 30, have actually domesticated that law. So in that regard, that law is made at the national level, and when it gets to the state, that is meso, that is regional or state policies. When the policy is made at the national, that is at macro, meso is at the state, and micro is agency-specific guidelines. Like you have the Ministry of Women Affairs, you have your own policy, you have your own guidelines, different from what they use in Health Ministry, different from what they use in Agric Ministry, different from what they use in the Ministry of Staff, and so on and so forth. So the policy are they have these levels of operation. Then historical development. From charity-based model to welfare state and neoliberal restructuring. Policies, social policies has a history from the days when we have the charity-based organizations in the world, when they actually took upon themselves the work of government, and they started from there, and they started providing social welfare services from where the government actually took it up to ensure that they take it as their responsibility. Then we have social welfare models. You also need to know the social welfare models like residual, institutional, the developmental. Let me just explain these models. And before I do that, I need to let you know that this class is stated for between 6 and 8, isn't it? But I want to tell you, we may not have to spend the 2 hours today because the time is quite odd, and we may have some other things to do. I'll have some other things to do between 7 and 8. For today, we're going to take this class between 6 and 7. So I think from next week on, the time will be adjusted to suit our purpose and actually address our individual needs. Like I told you, I need to quickly explain these models and for your understanding, and so that we can move forward from there, perhaps. But I want us to finish chapter 1 today, so that we can move up from there. What does residual model mean in social welfare? The residual model views social welfare as a temporary emergency response to human needs. Temporary emergency response to human needs. It assumes that family and the market are the primary sources of support, and government intervention is a last resort. For you to go to the government, it sees government as the last resort, which means the family must provide what your social welfare needs. That is the view of the residual model. What are the key assumptions in this model? Individuals who meet their needs through personal effort. The essence of that model is that individuals should meet their needs through personal effort, family support, or market-based mechanism, e.g. employment. You should look for job on your own. You should work on your own. Whatever you earn, you use it to better your own lot. That is the view of that model. You can only seek for government assistance when it is appropriate. When those systems fail, when you think that, okay, I can no longer pay my own school fees with what I'm doing, like you are on course now and you are a government officer, you may be paying for this course from your own pocket, from your own personal salary. But when you get to a time when you pay from your own pocket, or your family is supporting you, you are using this residual model to social welfare. But when that one is trying to create a kind of burden for you, what do? You begin to ask for assistance, perhaps from the government, that, okay, government, I'm serving you, and this course I'm doing is relevant to my duties, is relevant to my duty post. So government should sponsor us on this professional development. When you go to conferences, you seek for support, approval from your agency to support you to attend that conference, even within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. When you do that, you are applying residual model. You are applying residual model. Again, welfare should be minimal, short-term, and targeted at the most needy, which means you look at the immediate needs. You look at a short-term goal to achieve, or short-term aim or objective to achieve, and it's target what? The needy, which means you address the immediate need, and it is such that it is minimal. It's not a huge responsibility. What are the core principles in this model? One, it means tested program. Eligibility based on income. What you want to do, you base it on your personal income. Again, it is focused on curing problem rather than preventing them. You already have a problem, you want to cure it. You are not preventing the problem. You are not actually preventing what will happen later. Then, stigma often attached to beneficiaries of welfare. What are the strengths of this model? One, it limits government spending and bureaucracy. It encourages personal responsibility and market participation. And it is easy to implement for short-time crisis. For short-time crisis, like you are attending conference. If you attend a conference this week or this month, you cannot attend the same conference next month. It's not possible. The government will just look away. Perhaps that will have to be delayed. That have to be delayed till next year. Maybe at the same period next year, government will have had a kind of relief. So what are the limitations? It fails to address structural causes of poverty or inequality. It reinforces stigma and marginalization of the poor, because if you don't have, which means if you don't have enough to cater for your needs, you continue to wallow in poverty. It often leads to under provision of services and unmet needs, because the needs will continue to compound. Look at the removal of oil subsidy. The oil subsidy removal in Nigeria, it has created a lot of problems for many people, for many individuals. And as a result, your urgent need, your immediate need cannot be met as required. Examples in this, look at emergency relief fund for disaster victims. It's short term. You know what happened in Niger State? Shortly before Salah, in Mokwa, to be precise, there was a flood, massive flood that actually swept away many houses, many properties, and many human beings. And the government, what did the government do? Government just tried to rally around to provide what they call relief materials to disaster victims. Displaced victims of crisis, displaced victims of banditry, Boko Haram, and so on and so forth, displaced victims of this agitation. The agitation in the southeast, what do they call it? This your sister at home, whatever. The IPOP crisis and whatever. All this, the emergency relief provided, they are under this. The cash transfer for only the poorest household in South African states. In Nigeria, for example, of course, those of you in the Ministry of Women Affairs will know that you are in government. You know the constitutional cash transfer program that is still ongoing. It has started since the day of Buhari and is still ongoing, where households are identified as being poor and they are being supported with maybe with 10,000 per month or thereabouts. And this is being given to those that have been identified, to those that are put on social register. That is short term in any way. Let's go to institutional model of social welfare. The institutional model views welfare as a normal and accepted function of society, like education or policing. It has said that government has a legitimate role in ensuring the well-being of all citizens, not just the poor. That is why I talk about the essence of government is to provide social welfare services for its citizenry without any without expecting them to pay them back. That is why social services they cannot be quantified. Social services are just provided without expecting any profit on expenditure on them. When government expend on social services, government does not expect to have gain or to have profit, to make profit on that investment. Investment on social services is not profit oriented. Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, we talk about fundamental principles and directive policy of government, is clearly stated in section 2 of that constitution, or in chapter 2 of the constitution, that the essence of government, the primary function of government is to provide social welfare services. Go and check. And when that is stated, it means government has realized its function, legitimate function to provide social services for its citizens. So, and that is talking about institutional model. Ministry of Women Affairs looking at what the ministry should do for women, what the ministry should do for the children, what the ministry should do about the social welfare of the people within that state. That is institutional. That is institutional model. Social welfare is a universal right, not a privilege for the needy. It looks, because that model looks at the social welfare as a right. You know, the fundamental human right of human beings is a universal right, like as declared by United Nations. Again, inequality and need are inherent in modern society and require ongoing public support. There's no way an individual can actually single-handedly bear the responsibility in the society. It needs support. For instance, road construction. No matter how wealthy you are, you cannot construct on your own. You may not have that resources to construct a road maybe from Benin to Asaba as an individual. Government has to do that. An individual cannot bear that because government has enormous resources than individual. If we put all our resources together, all our resources as individual cannot take more than 5%. The other 95% or 85% of the resources are controlled by government and they are owned by government. That is why mostly we depend on government to provide all these things. That is on the assumption of using institutional models. The states will actively provide services such as healthcare, education, and housing. That is why you have public health services, you have primary healthcare centers, we have tertiary, we have secondary healthcare center like a general hospital and so on and so forth, and we have the tertiary, those teaching hospitals, specialist hospitals. They are provided by government. An individual may not have that resources to sustain that because government realize what is important to be done. We have talked about some principles: universal access to benefit, healthcare, pension, preventive and proactive in nature. It's preventive because government want to do things so that that thing will not occur in future. And the strength is social justice and solidarity. They are actually promoted. It reduces inequality through redistributive policies because every policy talks about redistribution of resources equitably, encourages long-term planning and social investment. What are the limitations? Limitations are it requires high public expenditure and taxation. Government will continue to spend. 2027 is very close by. When the politicians come out to campaign, they still talk about we will construct roads, we will construct schools, we will build bridges, we will do this, we will do that, we will build schools, we will make education accessible, with all this. They continue to say the same thing all over and over because the resources are not there. It's too tasking for the government to meet with the demands of what we need. So that is why the public expenditure is always high. Look at the trillion of naira. Just take a look at the trillion of naira being borrowed by federal government to service the budget. You can see, you will see that government has enormous debt on our neck, and that enormous debt is actually affecting service delivery in some sectors. Time immemorial, since we enter into civil rule 1999, it has always been a promise that our electricity will be improved. The national, what do they call it? Output, the national output from electric generation will take to us to 40,000 megawatts and so on and so forth. And that dream has not been realized since all these days. So what are the examples? National Health Services, National Health Insurance Scheme, State Health Insurance Scheme, nomadic education system for the Alumanjiris in the north, the Alumanjiri schools in the north, the nomadic education program as part of the basic education program being put in place by government. All these are policy geared toward that, actually takes clues from what? From this institutional model. Then developmental model, look at it emphasizing the role of welfare in promoting human potential and economic development. It integrates social and economic goals aiming to empower individuals and communities. We are talking about empowerment in this regard, and we are talking about economic productivity and national growth. We talk about capacity, scale, and resilience. We also talk about active participants in development, not passive recipients. In essence, this particular model looks at social assistance with empowerment strategies, e.g., microfinance, vocational training, community participation, local development, community development council in different local governments. There is a strong linkage between welfare, employment, and social capital. A very strong linkage between them, because we talk about welfare, we talk about employment, we talk about social capital. So what are the strengths of this? It aligns welfare with sustainable development goals that I just explained during the course of my discussion. It builds self-sufficiency and social entrepreneurship. It continues and continue. You can also read more. Look at the limitation. You can read more. Google it, and you can read more for you to understand what we are talking about. Examples: conditional cash transfer. We have talked about with skill training. You know, conditional cash transfer with skill training. When a skill training is introduced with it, I don't think that is being practiced in Nigeria for now. If you look at the social protection policy document, national social protection policy document, I know that there are aspects that talks about empowerment of women, aspect that talks about empowerment of the less privileged, the empowerment of the vulnerables. When that is taken, in addition to conditional cash transfer, we are looking at this model, which is developmental model. Of course, I've mentioned national social investment programs, national social protection policy that we have. That document too, they speak to all this model we have talked about. Essentially, a model may not suit our purpose. We may have to integrate the three models for us to get to where we are going. Community-based health insurance and cooperative farming initiative that we have all around us, they are very, very useful in making use of this model. Then, in summary, residual model talks about last resort. You use government. You look at welfare field as a last resort. Institutional, look at normal function of government to provide that basic facilities or social welfare services. Then developmental, look at investment in people. Investment in people. What's the role of the state? The role of state is minimal in the first model. The role of state is proactive and universal in the second model. And the role of state is that of an enabler in the last model, which is developmental or partnership. And the coverage is for the first model, the second model is universal. The coverage for the last model is community focus. For the first one is target. The target that is being tested. The focus for the first model is problem solving. Its focus is problem solving. The second model is prevention and equity. You know, the first model is short term. It's problem solving, immediate need. The last one is about empowerment and capacity. And I've given you different examples. You can look at the case of the Nigeria National Social Investment Program. You can look at it as a case study. Go and study the National Investment, Nigeria National Social Investment Program. Please study that document. Combine it with National Social Protection Policy. National Social Protection Policy, NSPP, National Social Protection Policy, I think 2017. If it has been reviewed, we'll get that of 2022. You can Google that and you get either 2017 document or 2022 if it is reviewed, because it was due to be reviewed in 2022 after 5 years of implementation. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the last slide that I have here, can you see it from your head? Somebody should just answer me.
No, sir. No, we're not seeing any slide.
You are not seeing any slide again? Please look at it very well. Is anybody seeing my slide?
No, no.
Look at the screen. I'm
No.
still on sharing the screen. Okay, wait, let me see. But you can hear me clearly, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm still sharing the screen. Any other person? Okay. Anyhow, this is going to be the last slide to be discussed tonight. And if you can hear me clearly, the last slide I shared now is discussion questions. Please, number one, what is the difference between social policy and social work policy? Between social policy and social work policy. Number two, how can social workers influence macro level policy? So these two questions, please go and think about it and do something about it. I will be expecting answer when next we meet. I wouldn't know the time we'll meet. I wouldn't know the exact date we'll meet again. But when next we meet, we want to discuss these questions. The first 15 minutes or so, or the first 10 minutes, we'll discuss this question, and everybody will participate. Everybody will contribute. And that is going to be part of your contribution to the class, and it's going to be graded. So please note that. Go and read more about social policy and social work policy, and how can social worker influence macro level policy. You give an empirical example, give a practical example. Look at any macro level policy, like national gender policy I talk about, national social protection policy I also mentioned during the course of my discussion. Just look at those two. Look at those one and others. Look at some other national legislation as well. Those are the macro level, and you just tell us what you can do as a social worker to influence that policy. So let me know when next we meet. So I want to thank you most sincerely. I will give 2 or 3 minutes for questions if you have any questions, so that we can call it a day from this end. Yes, if you have questions, you can raise your electronic hands. Okay, we are just 2. Others have disappeared. Oh. We are just 3. Others have disappeared. Oh. I can see Rita and Pretty. So others, they have gone. So I don't know. So no problem. So do you have questions?
Yes, I actually have a question. When you were talking, I know I can't remember the word you used, but you kind of cite an example with people trying to source for funds from the government, sourcing for funds from the government. Sorry, my babies are actually disturbing. You used the word which I didn't get clear.
Which word is that? On what, under what context? In what context? That people trying to seek support from government. You know, at a point that is in the first the residual model. It is when you know, as a family, as an individual, you cannot meet your needs as an individual. At that point, you are like, your responsibility is becoming a burden, and you want to seek help from government. That is when I gave, and that help is short term. You want to use it to achieve, to meet immediate needs.
The terminology you use there is what I actually want to get.
Which terminology? I cannot remember. Maybe when you listen to the recording. Which terminology that you seek? Is it when you want to attend a conference? You want to get the approval?
Yes, that in the situation where you can't foot your bills anymore, you can't meet up, and
Yes, and
you're going to
anyway,
seek.
you want to seek
Okay,
support. You want to
yes,
seek
from
support
the
from others.
government.
Okay, maybe
Yes.
later you will remember. I cannot actually remember exactly what I said. Maybe when the recording is posted, you will get the you
Okay.
get it very well. Thank you so much. Any other question, Rita?
Thank you so much, sir. Okay.
No. Okay, no question.
Yeah, maybe Bubemi can.
Okay, no problem. So I want to thank you for your time, and until another time when we have the opportunity of meeting again. So stay blessed and continue to enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
sir. Yeah, good night, sir.
Good night.